This video is powered by Dr. Cinik, one of the world's leading hair transplant centres and a top choice among football superstars. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link below for your free consultation. I'm even thinking about getting it done myself.
I'm with Turkish. Always a pleasure to talk to you after games, particularly when Arsenal have won. An eventful game today. Probably not the game we saw coming into it, but a win nevertheless.
Yeah, if we made harder work of it then it should have been week on week now. Two newly promoted sides, and we expected two comfortable wins, and it was all but comfortable. Yeah.
Mind you say that, and I heard Cecil alluding to something similar on the watch-along. He was talking about it being a close game. Now, if I give you the stats, it's not as close as some people would have you believe, because I think Arsenal had something like 20-odd shots on goal to Southampton's 8. I mean, you know, Southampton did better than expected. I think before the game, we were predicting 3s, 4s, other people were saying 5s, some even 6s. And I granted Southampton performed much better than that. But a close game, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm eyes over stats, and what my eyes saw was Aaron Ramsdale not really tested for 60 minutes of that game, you know. And that's where it became a close game. And then they take the lead. And just before they took the lead, they probably had the best chance of the game with that cut back and kind of ricochet off and just over the bar. So it was a close game for the majority. They done well in their defensive side of things after the first 10 minutes. But in that first 10 minutes, we should have scored at least 2. You know, they was all over the gaff defensively, and we was getting the ball into the box. I think 11 minutes in, we had 19 touches in their box to the 0 they had in ours. So when I look at those stats, all right, we should have been up, but we wasn't up. And that's where it became a close game, because we didn't finish our dinner. But after that first 10, 15 minutes, there wasn't much on the plate to finish after that, because we kind of lacked any creativity. We were stiff in the middle. The attacks were coming down the wings. Sterling had a couple good one-on-ones where he beat the man and got a decent delivery into the box. Saka the same early on. But really, it looked like our biggest threat was from set pieces. And, you know, in that first half, set piece after set piece, free kick, different ways, whether it's Saka shooting from 30 yards or it's near post or it's back post, and nothing seemed to be working. And the one that looked like it was destined, actually they were back to back. Ramsdale got fingertips to it to take it off Havertz's head, and then Havertz probably should have done better, heads it over the bar for the follow-up. For me, it was a close game, and when you go 1-0 down and it's what 55 on the clock, or however long it was.
Yeah, it was 55 minutes. Cameron Archer, I've got to say, he took his goal well. I was surprised he didn't start, actually, but, you know, that's what the manager went with. And to be fair to Southampton, I thought they did okay. You know, I mean, they defended well at times, and we weren't quite at our best. As you said, a couple of guys you thought would have done better didn't. But on 55 minutes, when Cameron Archer scores that goal, what was the thoughts running through your head?
I just couldn't believe that we were losing the game. Like that's what I just, you know, I thought the Leicester one, because we've put things like this behind us, and I'm not saying this happened today, but in terms of, you know, going up against these teams and expecting it to be a difficult game, like we've come a long way from 5 years ago. You know, 5 years ago, a 2-0 lead against Leicester, 2-2 after 60, 70 minutes. It's not out of this world to imagine it. It is with this side. 60 minutes gone to be losing 1-0 to Southampton at the Emirates. It's hard to imagine it with this side, because this side has been so good for the past 2 years. So
yeah, credit to Havertz, because 3 minutes after Cameron Archer scored, Havertz pops up, took his goal really well. So that's, I think it's something like 6 goals now, or maybe no, 7 goals consecutive at home. He draws level with Robin van Persie even. Tell us your thoughts on Havertz, because let's be honest, you are not blown away with Havertz last season, and you've had your fair share to say about him. What would you say now?
Listen, I mean, people will always stick this tag on me because I just expect the highest of standards, and this 2024 version of Havertz, he's been close to that more often than he hasn't been, and the run he's on shows that. The finish today was probably his best goal for Arsenal, in my opinion. It was crisp. You know, he takes it out of his feet, he makes a bit of space, and he buries it in off the post. For me, that is what a number 9 does. And I know he's not a natural number 9, so we have to make do and we have to make it work, and we have with him up top. So, in my opinion, I didn't expect anything from him when he came in. I couldn't believe we signed him. But that opinion 6 months in, 7 months in, turned around because we found some use of him. And then following finding some use, he's also produced. His confidence has got better. And I think today that goal was massive. Massive because prior to that, we didn't really show a cutting edge. Jesus was frustrating. Saka and Sterling wasn't really producing. And that one moment fell. Listen, big up Saka, because it was his pressing that he nicked the ball, passed it in. It will count as one of his 7 assists this season, or 8. I forgot what he's on. But the majority of the work for that goal was done by Havertz. And listen, he buried it. More of that, because Jesus had an opportunity today to apply some pressure, and every opportunity this season so far he hasn't. That was why I thought we needed a striker. I think we needed a striker in the summer to allow for some more competition, more pressure. But as long as Havertz keeps performing like this, then I'm cool with it.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that goal as well is that it came just 3 minutes after Southampton had scored, so it kind of calmed the nerves a little bit, and then we went on to get a couple more. Saka, let's talk about Saka, because I thought he was outstanding today. Couple of assists, couple of goals. Your thoughts on Saka?
Yeah, he was good today. First 10 minutes, he was beating the fullback and the cover for fun. Quieting down a little bit, but in the second half, 2 assists and a goal. I already said what I said about the first one. Good pressing, nicks it. To be honest, he had a couple opportunities where I would have thought he might have done a little bit better. But you know what Saka's about. You know he gets the numbers on the board. 7, 8 assists now for the season. On one app it tells me 7, on another it tells me 8. So I don't know which one to go with at the moment. But whether it's 7 or 8 assists after game week 7, he's on course to break the record. Now, Ozil was on course to break that record in whatever year it was. He was on 16 in December. And to be honest, De Bruyne's been on course to break that record before as well. It's not an easy record to break. Henry and De Bruyne holding it on 20. But he's got 7, 8 assists after 7 game weeks. And to be honest with you, I think we're still yet to see the best of Saka. 7 assists, 8 assists, 2 goals added to that as well. Yeah, I mean, we know what Saka's about. We've become used to him being the measuring stick for all good English young talent. As soon as someone does something that's young and English, oh, he's better than Saka, or can Saka do this? It just tends to be the thing. And this people will take this as a swipe to Palmer. Listen, 4 goals in a game is mad, and Palmer is quality. But Saka has 9 goal contributions this season. Palmer's got 10. But Saka's one goes under the radar because this has become the standard for Saka. You know, and obviously goals take the headlines and the front page as well. So, listen, in general, Saka saved the day for us today. 2 assists. Well, I say saved the day. 2 assists and a goal. Happy days. A
word for Gabriel Martinelli. Looked sharp today. Came on. Definitely made an impact as a sub. Got his goal. Tried to take on the fullbacks. A word for him?
Yeah, he needed a goal. You know, off the bench, I think Sterling needed a goal having started the game, and Martinelli needed a goal having come on, because number one, it was 1-1 when he came on, and number 2, we know that left side, as much as Martinelli deserves his starting berth because of the work rate, the attacking side of things hasn't quite clicked on the left-hand side. So him coming on to get such an important goal, he's done it before when Trossard first took his spot. He comes back, gets a goal, and then he went on the best run he's gone on in an Arsenal shirt. If he can do the same now, we'll be in a very healthy position come November, December times.
And just finally, it was the last game for the international break. 7 games, 5 wins, 2 draws. We're 3rd in the table, looking good. You still think we're on course for certainly challenging for City, but do you think we can win the title? I know it's early yet, but you know.
We can win the title. 100% we can win the title. I think Odegaard has to come back. And we have to hope that he comes back good, ready, strong. And we have to hope for, you know, a similar injury record to last year where it's minimal. Because we are light in certain positions. Arteta's done, I think, an amazing job to be 7 games in without any losses, considering Rice missed that game against Tottenham, considering Odegaard's been out, considering we've had to chop and change. Ben White's not been out. You know, the Ben White one goes under the radar. Ben White has been top 2 right back in this league for the last 2 years. So him missing for any other team, it's a big deal. For us, it's like, oh, well, you got other defenders to come in. But he's been the second best. So we're missing important players this season already, 7 games in, and he's made it work. So, you know, Merino now comes back 2 games in a row. He features, great news. Odegaard, hopefully after international break, we start seeing him on the training ground again, and then back in the starting lineup, and then, you know, we're in a very healthy position. Look, Man City conceded 2 goals at home again today to Fulham. We've seen an impact there. The Rodri stuff is massive news, and it can swing the pendulum in our favour. Now, we won't know the impact that has on City until December time, but let's make sure we do what we need to do, so in December, whether they have or haven't been impacted points wise on the board, goals scored, goals conceded, we are still in the conversation.